Howdy howdy, my name's Toast, and today we're going to be redesigning one of my best friend's old OCs, all the way back from high school, which would be anywhere from 6 to 10 years, since I have no idea what grade that she made this character in. So, a long time ago. Our girl today that we're going to be redesigning, she is an alien girl. She's got like the cute antenna, love those designs, and she originally was very inspired by one specific image, and this image had an Enderman in it. She's basically a Minecraft OC. Here's the thing though, she's not actually a Minecraft OC, and so I didn't want to make her a Minecraft OC in my redesign, but I did want to take inspiration from Enderman in the end, and well, let's just say that I may have accidentally not only redesigned a character, but also maybe have created an entire planet and society and new species. So, why don't we just hop right into it so I can start telling you about this new planet, yeah? Alright, I just ate spicy food, so my mouth is on fire, so I apologize if I sound weird for this segment of the video. Hopping right into the drawing here, you may be looking at this and wondering, that's not a character. I mean, it could be, but I don't think that's a character. And while you would be correct, it's not a character. Like I said in the intro, I may or may not have created an entire world for this, which was not my intention. I just, I hopped into this and I was like, okay, I'm gonna create this OC. I'm redesigning this character. She's going to be from, a planet that's very inspired by the end. And then I was like, well, now I feel like I need to develop the world so I can develop the kind of fashion that she would wear. Which is maybe not 100% necessary, but I thought it would be fun. And so I looked at the end for a lot of inspiration, but I also looked at other things and stuff. So my primary inspirations, you could say, were the end, eldritch shit, mushrooms, crystals, anything cool looking, anything fun. In this little drawing that we're doing right now, I have like this sort of mountains in the background, and then in the foreground here, I thought about how the end is a bunch of floating islands, right? And I was looking at actual photos of deserts, because the end is very desert-like to me. And in deserts, they have like, certain ones have like these big like cracks in the ground, and so I was like, okay, how about instead of floating islands, it's like a real life desert, these huge cracks in the ground, except they just go down forever, and there are beasts maybe lurking below. I really like that idea. I'll put an image up on screen of what I mean by the desert, by the way, because I am terrible at explaining things, if you couldn't tell. In the background, I decided to throw in some giant crystals. I thought that could be fun if like there was giant mountainous crystal ranges and stuff, and obviously, it's supposed to have an otherworldly look. We're literally on another world. That's so crazy. So, I wanted these giant crystals that formed mountains in the background. I should have prefaced this whole thing with saying I'm not a background artist, by the way. I'm, it's not something I'm amazing at, and it's something I definitely need to improve upon. So, apologies if none of this is as good as my character art. Adding in some details into the desert itself, obviously we've got like the chorusy fruit trees, or plants. I don't know what they are in Minecraft, but I decided to add in a plant that was inspired by those. I decided to add some creepy ass tentacles coming out from the void cracks between all of the yellow stone, and adding in some smaller clusters of crystals as well. And that was my first concept of what this planet could look like here. Moving on, I wanted to like create a city. And that's something I'm even worse at drawing, by the way, so this looks nothing like a city at the end, but I think you'll get the vibe. And I just had, like, the coolest thought is, and I was very inspired by Ruidus from Critical Role, from the third campaign, if you know what I'm talking about. Amazing. And I was really inspired by that, where, like, the city, it's minor spoiler alerts, by the way, but the city goes, like, underneath the ground itself, and I thought, okay, idea. What if this city was a, like, carved out of a giant, like, amethyst geode that was halfway into the ground, and then it had some of the amethyst spikes coming up. So it was partly inspired by Ruidus and partly inspired by the amethyst geodes that are in Minecraft itself. Also, I took a little brief break there to throw in some of this. I decided to make blue moss, because I was like, I feel like there should be a low-lying plant that is maybe surrounding some of the taller plants. So I decided to go with a low-lying blue moss that had some, like, white flowers in it for fun. And you see here I'm adding in some more like amethyst like crystals like poking out from the outside and adding in some of that blue moss around the edges. Because I imagine there's probably got to be like water or something within the city, so maybe that's why the blue moss is there. And here I'm deciding on what water is going to look like, you know? And so, which I know, like, in Minecraft, the Endermen are, like, allergic to water, so does it make the most sense for it to be here? Maybe not. But I feel like, you know, a lot of things need water to live. So I decided to include water, or some liquid that could be, or could act like water for this world. And since water in real life is blue, because it reflects off the sky, I decided to make the water here this sort of tealy green color, since it reflects off the sky. And here I'm going in with a silhouette that's more similar to like an actual end city, because I thought about, if you've ever seen bismuth before, it is like, it grows in these like square structures, and I thought this would be so cool if they had grown cities made out of bismuth. I thought that would be a really cool idea. I don't think my version looks very much like it, but that's irrelevant. And then going in here, adding in another pool of water. I thought about this as being like maybe an oasis that you would find in the middle of the desert, less like just a river that's going through. No, I was thinking about this being a swamp though. Actually, that's what I was thinking, because I was thinking that there could possibly be some like mushrooms and stuff, because in Minecraft the Endermen stick around the blue part of the nether quite a lot. And so I thought, what if there was mushrooms in a swampy sort of area that's like mixed in with the desert? It could be like a swampy oasis. That could be. And that is what I have for the world building that I did in preparation for the design of this character itself. So, I mean, without further ado, let's move on to the actual part of this video that you're here to watch. As a slight tangent into my life really quick, like, I paused the recording of this video so that I could focus on my hyperfixation and spend 6 hours handcrafting a journal because I didn't have any money to pay for one. So I just made one myself for a character that I will be playing in an upcoming side campaign that will get played once in a blue moon. So, Toffee, you're real lucky I like you. Hopping into the actual point of this video now, the redesigning of this several year old character, the concepting phase of this character was a lot different than I typically do it for my own characters, because for my own characters, the concepting part happens in my head, and then the first thing that I do is typically what I'm happy with. Sometimes I'll play around and, you know, with different ideas and stuff, but the most part, when I create a character, it's first try, you know, unless I like really hate them. But when it comes to concepting a character for somebody else, you kind of have to give them options, because, you know, my friend Jazzy, by the way, that's the person who is asking for this, she is a creative person, but she's not creative in the way that I am creative, in the way that I love character design. I love, you know, I just love every part of this process, creating outfits, creating characters, what they look like, all of that. And Jazzy, she's more into writing and stories and you know, whatever's cool to her, which is cool. And so I have to sit here and give her options about what I think would look cool for the concept that she has given me, you know, and trying to make it look cool to what I think her standards are. And so you'll see me hopping around here a lot between deciding on what body shape we wanted to go with, because the original character is sort of like a like mid-size, a little bit on the thicker, I would say. And so we were like, do we stay with that because she's based out of an Enderman, so maybe she should be, you know, skinnier, like freakishly skinny, because, you know, aliens and stuff, or, you know, however. And, you know, for the species itself, it probably varies, you know, similar to humans. But for her, she wanted to go with the thickest option available because she's got taste. And so, went with that. I did a few body markings for her based off of the ideas that she likes. I chose to do the purple skin with the tealish green color, and I thought that the tealish green color would be cool if it was like bioluminescent, so it glows in the dark. That would be really great for illustration needs down the road, because that is just absolutely fantastic lighting to color with. It would really make a interesting pop of color to a dark illustrated piece. Hopping into outfits and stuff, I looked at a lot of nomadic peoples, I looked at a lot of desert dwelling outfits, I think I looked at some African fashion at some point. Basically, I was looking at fashions of places that were deserty. That's it, deserty, difficult to live in. I was sort of looking at that. I think I got some Romani inspiration in here. There was just a lot of inspiration in terms of, like, culturally, where I looked at clothes from. And I knew that, like, in their designs, I knew that I wanted there to be a lot of gemstones and probably jewelry because, in this space, they have a lot of gemstones. It's very apparent when we were doing the concepting of the region itself of this world. And so this culture probably wears a lot of gemstones, just because they're abundant in the region, as well as they probably have a lot of jewel tone colors in their clothing. And you'll see that later when we actually move on to coloring and whatnot. If you ever plan on doing anything like this, just note, it's going to be a while. I'm a very fast artist, I would say. I draw very quickly. I can bang out like a full illustrative piece in like 7 hours. Is that a good thing? Maybe. Good or bad, who knows? But, I'm a quick artist. I like getting things done fast. But when you're relying on somebody else to give you direction for your piece, especially in a piece like this where I literally cannot move on until I've gotten their feedback, it's like, okay, now I just have to wait for them to respond. And it's so amusing because I had showed her the 3 different outfits that I have here, and I was asking her, if she liked any of these, if I should do something else, if there's anything else if she wanted to combine anything. And I think we sat there for like 40 minutes. Like, just seeing her little Jazzy Ace typing on the Discord thing, and then at the end of it, she was just like, I was trying to come up with an idea of how to combine all the designs, and then I couldn't, so the third one. And it was just 40 minutes of waiting for that. So it's like, in that time, what am I supposed to do? And so typically, I use that time to experiment with other things, like different body markings, different, just colors in general for the characters, stuff like that. At one point, I was waiting on her to get back to me about what hairstyle I wanted, and so I just straight up started coloring the full-on outfit. Because I was like, well, I got time to kill while I wait, and her hair doesn't really mess with the colors of the outfit too much. Though maybe it should have, because, oh my god, at the end, I had sent the fully finished piece to her, and she was like, I don't know about the hair. And it's her same hair color from the original design, which was white, but it was like a very pure white, so we went through like so many different hair colors. But we ended up on a really nice one that you'll see at the end. So that's like pretty much it for all of the design things. You just add things on and see what your client, or in this case your friend, wants from the design, And I think there's always a limit, Don't force yourself to make a million different designs, because that's just not reliable. You could probably do more than 3, I would say maybe do more than 3 if you're doing this like professionally. I'm not a professional character designer. Maybe I should have prefaced this video with saying that I'm not a professional character designer. I'm a professional comic artist, I guess, kind of, but so I have a little bit of merit in this, since being a comic artist kind of means that you're a professional in every form of artwork. Writing, coloring, inking, character design, environment design, prop design, everything, But, it's sort of like a jack of all trades sort of situation where you can't get super deep into it, though. You're just like, I'm generally skilled at all of these things, but I'm not, like, amazingly skilled at one of them, so. At the end, though, she ended up liking this sort of just long piece of fabric that goes down from the front, and there's also a piece on the back that I ended up adding a little bit later that you saw that she ended up liking as well, so we ended up going with that. And color-wise, I really wanted to go with, like I said, the deep jewel tones, and I ended up going with, like, my favorite color combo, which is a deep, like, pink color, sort of burgundy-ish, and a deep teal. Love that color combo. I don't know if you could tell, considering that those literally are my brand colors. But, and experimenting with the gems was tough, because I was like, I want the gemstones to fall into the same color family, but I don't. They're obviously like a brighter, more saturated look. So those are like, I think the gemstones are more like the main focal point of this outfit than like the outfit itself. She also requested that the outfit be sheer, and she's real for that. So I did have to go in and design the underwear underneath, because decency's sake for YouTube. I don't care if she's naked underneath, but YouTube does. So unfortunate, but it is what it is. After getting all of the design choices down, I decided to draw a different pose for her to draw the final design on, because originally I was just going to use the pose that I had come up with, but then the arms were kind of all in the way of the outfit and everything, so I really wanted to spread them out more so we could see more of the details of the outfit. Literally during the entire concepting phase, one of the arms was just getting covered the entire time, so much so that our other friend Paper was like, does she only have 3 arms? And no, she has 4. I just kept covering one up because it was in the way. So, forearm characters are really hard to draw, by the way. I had such a hard time, and it's something I need to work on. I think I said this in my... Is that my last video that I did? A forearm character? That's crazy. 2 forearm characters back to back is kind of crazy. But it's so hard to figure out where the second arms should come from, and where they should, like how do they interact, the first set of arms, you know? I don't know. I don't have 4 arms. If you have 4 arms, let me know. I would love your insight. If I could just, like, get a view of your body from all angles, I would be really appreciative. So, only for people with 4 arms, though. And I'm doing this method again that I mentioned also in my forearm video, the other one, where I redesigned one of my old OCs. Wow, last video, redesigning an old OC, now they have 4 arms, using the same well, obviously I'd be using the same techniques as my artwork, but still kind of crazy that now I'm redesigning my friend's OC, and she's got 4 arms. To be fair, that's not actually crazy, considering that the reason that this character has 4 arms is because my other character, is because of the last video, because that character has 4 arms, because I showed that to her, and she was like, oh, well, now I want my new character 4 arms. So, you know, as it goes. The rest of this speed paint here is nothing new. It's literally just me spending way too long drawing her feet, an uncomfortable amount of time drawing her feet, actually, and just, you know, messing around with details and clearing things up, making them look cleaner, more understandably so, especially around the gemstone region where I just did a bunch of blobs for the original concept art. And I think that's something I need to work on in my concept art. Oh boy, my concept art is such a mess, it's so hard for anyone to understand. Except for me. Like, I know what it is, but there was even, like, in the back and forth between Jazz and me, there was even a little bit of confusion about, like, one of the designs and stuff. But I think it's fine. After I explain it, they're like, oh, yeah, I can see it now. But if I was, like, working, like, professionally doing this, I would have to be way cleaner with my designs, which is why I'm not working professionally with this, because my ass is lazy. So, I'm lazy, and I just want to get things done quick. So, I love artwork. I just like being not constrained by it, you know what I'm saying? Which I think that industry jobs do to you. Which, no hate if you're in an industry job, we love what you do. Greatly appreciate all of the hard work that you do in creating artwork for the world. So, that is pretty much it. Oh, I didn't even get to say, because we, like, basically skimmed over the hairstyles, basically. She ended up going with the ponytail hairstyle, which is so real, so valid, so cute. It was very inspired by this one piece that I saw on Pinterest. If I can find it, I'll let you know. Actually, I might be able to find it. I think it's a cosplay wig that I was inspired by. If I remember and I find it, I will link it, the post, in the description, because I was heavily inspired by that. So, credit where credit is due, of course. But I think it looks really nice for her. It gives her a very priesty vibe. Priestess vibe. Which I think is cute and nice. I also like this hairstyle for her because there's something otherworldly about it, and I think that that's something, when you're creating an alien species, it's so easy to fall into human culture and stuff, because, I mean, that's what we experience, that's all that we know, so obviously everything we do is going to be based around that, you know? And this character still is here very obviously inspired by human culture. I mean, she looks like a human, but with 4 arms, you know? And a tail, and some antennae. But, you know, I don't know, there's certain things that make something look alien, you know? A foreign, I guess, and that's sort of what this hairstyle is. Because, like, nobody on Earth has a hairstyle like this. That's not even possible. I don't even think that's possible. Unless you did, like, maybe, like, 2 braids connecting each other. But even still, it wouldn't flow like that, which, you know, I mean, drawings have crazy hair all the time because they're drawings and not reality, so we can do whatever we want. But, you know, if this was reality and our hair floated like that, that's very otherworldly to me. So that was the vibe I was going for. I also ended up giving her square pupils. I don't know if you noticed, but square pupils are a nod to her Enderman origins. For the coloring of the gemstones, I actually found something that was very helpful in making it look like an assortment of different gemstones and stuff, which is just color all the gemstones a single color, and then select that color, and then gradient the gemstones, the other colors that you want, because then you get like a beautiful mixture, and it's like so easy to color in. It looks from afar like really great, and no one's ever really going to be zooming into your photos that much, so I think it looks really good. It's way better than if I had just gone in and colored them by hand, so I think it looks pretty good. I'm just saying, if you've got a heavily jeweled up person, I would suggest trying a gradient on their jewels to switch from color to color. And after adding in some finishing details, I mean, I think our fine alien lady is finally finished. That brings us to the end of this video, everybody. I hope you enjoyed watching. Maybe you learned a thing or two, or maybe you didn't, and that's cool too. I'm not a teacher. What do you think about my design and the world that I've created? Let me know if you enjoy the concepts of the alien girl here, of the city that's made out of like amethyst. I personally think that's like the coolest thing that I came up with. If you've got any like world names, that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. Just let me know in the comment section, you know, if you enjoyed these designs or not. That'd be really helpful. You know what else would be helpful is if you liked and subscribed. Oh my god. Yeah, kind of crazy. That'd be like super helpful if you did that. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your viewing, especially viewing all the way to the end. That's crazy. Thank you so much. I have some other videos up on my channel if you'd like to check those out. I have an entire another video with a 4-armed character too. So that's what I'm saying. You can check that out if you'd like. You can also follow me over on Blue Sky at Arcanian Toast, as well as Twitch, where I stream every Thursday. And that is definitely not outdated information that I'm going to be giving you because I'm recording this months in advance. And then also, if you'd like any of this artwork for your own, not this artwork, but like any of my artwork, you know, in general, you can go to my VN and commission me. And that'd be great because I'm broke as hell. But you know, if you're also broke as hell, don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Take care of yourself first. Okay? Okay. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope to catch you in the next one. This has been Toast, and I hope you all have an amazing day.